Brian
Supposed to do.
Baldinger.
Foul the ball. Get to the ball because sometimes the ball is loose. Sometimes 56 is Keon White. He joined the 49ers at the trade deadline on a trade with the New England Patriots, and he's been playing a lot. Here he is in a wide nine rushing the veteran Kelvin Beachum, right? Beachum pulls him down. In fact, they throw the flag. But that's not the important thing. Brissett takes off, and who takes off after him? Keon White, right? All right. White gets stopped at the goal line, right? Doesn't get into the end zone. Two plays later, we got Huff off the edge. Now we got Keon White inside. He's going to get double. But what does Keon White do here? Keon White is going to rush the passer. And when the ball's thrown over the middle to Higgins, what does he do? He doubles back because that's what you're supposed to do. Foul the ball, get to the ball because sometimes the ball is loose. Sometimes the ball gets out, and sometimes you fall on the ball, and sometimes you get the recovery. Like that's what you get when you chase the ball and you get to the ball. You get the ball. That's how you play football. That's the style of effect right there.
I mean, it feels like he's got some other things he's working out with that commentary, but I'll tell you, I have really enjoyed, as much as this team does not get to the quarterback, Keon White has been a very nice addition. It's kind of hilarious. Everyone's like, why didn't they do anything at the deadline? Because they did their work a week before. They got White. Where would they be without White? In a worse situation somehow than the one that they're in. And I was talking to Hutch about this today. Like, if this team was healthy, they would have a defensive end rotation of White, Mykel Williams, Huff, and Bosa. Now, of course, this team's never healthy, so that's a ridiculous hypothetical. But that might be the best four-man defensive end unit in the NFL. Like, White's really good. And, yeah, I just think he's been a really wonderful pickup for them. And that's the inverse Chase Young right there. So credit to the Niners for finding the inverse Chase Young.
Well, I mean, they found a guy who had no value to the Patriots, but had tremendous value to them, that didn't have a scheme fit with the Patriots, but does have a scheme fit with them. And I'll credit them. I mean, he's not a true defensive end. Like, he doesn't have real body lean. I mean, you could see there, he didn't really have that body lean, but it doesn't matter. They just need a bigger body that can play inside or outside, because you got guys going down left and right. So you're gonna have alignments that are all D tackles and all ends, and you're just gonna have to mix and match. And he's a perfect guy to mix and match with. So yeah, no, Keon White's been good. I talked to him the other day at his locker. He's really happy to be here. He said he's just putting his head down and just trying to give him as much as he possibly can. And
he's under contract for another year, Larry. Like, he's going to be Mykel Williams' backup next year. He might even start the season instead of Mykel, because Mykel's coming off an ACL injury, middle of the year. Like, that's, again, Huff, Bosa. I don't know if Yetro Gross-Matos will be on the team or not. Probably not. Who knows who they get in? Like, there's something there, right? As much as we can bemoan the draft picks, this team, every other team in the NFL, I mean, just look at Arizona. They had 1 week that has been the equivalent of what the Niners have faced since week 2. Just a steady stream of what the fuck now? How many guys are injured? The Cardinals had to deal with it for 1 week, and they completely imploded as an organization. The 49ers have had to deal with this every week, all year, for years in a row. Like 3 out of the last 5 years, they've had to deal with this. And yet they still, they're finding ways to win. They find players off the street, off the scrap heap, whatever, who are not as good as the ones that they had. Of course not. But find a way to at least do something. They're not complete jerks out there.
Well, the Niners have a culture. The Cardinals
matters.
don't have a winning culture.
No,
Cardinals have a losing culture, and it's hard to turn that around. And it goes so far beyond
100%.
Jonathan Gannon. Here's one more Baldy. Let's see what he had to say here about Purdy.
Let's hear what Baldy has to yell here. Or not. Do you want me to do a Baldinger impression?
Are you not hearing it?
I'm not hearing anything. The screen is not currently shared, Larry.
Oh, okay. Wait a second. Hold on a second.
Kevin?
Thought we had shared the screen. Where is it? Here we go. I got a lot of windows open here. Okay, here we go. Now we've got this Baldy. Okay.
There we go.
Now you see it.
Let me tell you about this guy right here.
Here we go.
Brock Purdy came in and he played great with no rust. But the design of the plays were really good. Like this is a triple stack right here. And you're just going to flood the zone here against Arizona. Pearsall's going deep. He's taking 2 with him, and there's the hole. And Brock Purdy reads it perfectly, hits Jennings for 25. Then you get this. You get this massive, like, pre-snap shift, motion, the whole thing. You get a 2x2 set. Down here, you get Kittle and you get Juice. And it's one-on-one. It's cover 1 right here. So Kittle's one-on-one right here with Akeem Davis-Gaither. He beats him clean, and Brock puts it away from the free safety. Beautiful 30-yard touchdown. Then you get this right here. You get CMC. You get McCaffrey right here in this motion, and he's one-on-one here with Cody Simon.
This is so
he's going to get bumped right here by Kittle, and he's wide open. And Purdy sees it. And then you get this. You get this play right here where you're going to get McCaffrey and you're going to get Pearsall, and all they're going to do is be just a bunch of cheese right here. All right? And here goes Kittle behind it. He's going to take Jalen Thompson to deep water and come out of it. Easy throw for 4-yard touchdown. Like, the plays really matter, you know? And you watch this right here. Like McCaffrey. Here you go.
This is the flood.
Same thing. Like, just, have you ever thought if McCaffrey could be a wide receiver? Watch this 15-yard comeback. 5 yards of separation on Max Melton, the corner. Good design. Yeah. Excellent execution.
Yeah, that last ball was one of the worst balls I thought Brock threw. Yeah. It was just floated and just held up. But yeah, I mean, that, you know, the Shanahan, you know, the play design in this game was really, really strong. Shanahan, you know, I thought had a number of really nice plays in this game. And overall, I think Brock Purdy, what we saw there, where you're seeing Brock audible at the line of scrimmage, read coverage, get into a more advantageous play. You know, we didn't see a lot of audibling from Jones. Not that he couldn't do it, but we didn't see a lot of it. We didn't see a lot of it. And when we did see it, it was an audible to a run play. You know,
it was a can. There's a difference. There's a difference between a can and an audible.
Right. I mean, he was canning the play, going to a run. He's got a bad look. You know, all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're going to go. We're going to do this. We're going to. But he was switching to a run as opposed to Purdy. It looks like, you know, was looking to be more aggressive. He is more aggressive. And I think he used the audibles in a more aggressive way. He was looking to throw the ball down the field. But there was a lot of good design there.
Unquestionably. The difference between running an offense and understanding an offense has been made evident by Brock Purdy coming in versus what we'd seen from Mac Jones recently. And Mac was running the offense. And this offense is good enough that if you run it, it will get you yards and points. But understanding the offense and being able to manipulate the offense, to be able to do those, you know, kind of to steal from Madden, those, you know, receiver hot routes and stuff. I mean, he was doing it in plays. I mean, you think about the throwaway right before that Kittle touchdown throw that Baldy broke down. He's rolled out to his right. Jennings is one-on-one, running along the back line, and Brock is pointing him, go that way. And he threw it away eventually because I do think that there was a linebacker coming into the line of vision. He didn't want to be overly aggressive because he knew he could burn him on the next play, which is, again, not an opportunity that you'll get in every game moving forward. But Brock understands this offense. He elevates this offense. And we just, so many people seem to forget that that's what makes him different. Mac was running the Jimmy G offense, and the Jimmy G offense got this team to a Super Bowl. And you can make the argument, oh, well, the Purdy offense only got the team to a Super Bowl too. Yeah, but Brock got MVP votes. And you mentioned pushing the ball down the field. I ran some numbers on it. Shout out to Nick Wagner, who kind of, you know, perked my ears up to this. Mac Jones is the worst deep ball thrower in the NFL over the last 3 years. He was the worst in the NFL this year. He was second worst the year before that. He was the worst the year before that. Purdy completes 37% more passes over 20 yards in the air than Jones compared to expected per NFL data. 20 yards in the air quarterback ratings, Purdy 106, Jones 32. Purdy has already completed 7 of his 10 deep passes this year and 99 attempts total. That's 10% of his overall passes. He's pushing it 20 yards or more down the field. Jones has 4 completions on 16 attempts all year. He's only thrown it downfield on 5% of his throws. It's the difference between teams that hit home runs and teams who play for batting average. And as much as you want to say, hey, it's great to put the ball in play and bat above 300, you got to put the ball over the fence. And Purdy, by the way, hits at a pretty nice clip. I don't know if he's, Aaron Judge or anything, where he's hitting 55 home runs and still leading the league in batting, but he's sure as hell a Cal Raleigh. I mean, he's not Dave Kingman up here, batting 200, but hitting 40 dingers a year. Purdy's deep ball stuff, this is not just a short-lived sample. He was unbelievable in it with it in 2023. And even last year, when he only got 1.6 yards of separation from his receivers, which is the same number Mac Jones got this year. So to credit Mac, he was doing it with very little. This 1.6 is egregious. Purdy got 3 in 2024. But even when he had only 1.6 yards of separation, he had a passer rating of 87. Jones had a passer rating of 32. Purdy's really good at this. And I don't know when people are going to quite understand that just because he's not 6'3" and carries a little bit of weight and stands in the pocket and looks like he has a rocket for an arm because he really zips some 7-yard throws, which is Mac Jones, just because Purdy can't see over his line and because he plays like a squirrel at the dog park and because, they float a little bit, doesn't mean he's not a really good deep ball thrower, that he's not a gunslinger, and that he doesn't elevate this offense. We had watched Kyle Shanahan's offense be effective but not potent for years, because Garoppolo, who was the best of every quarterback that he had prior to Purdy, couldn't push the ball to the sidelines, and he couldn't push the ball deep. And Kyle made do. But he also made do with Nick Mullins, right? And maybe not C.J. Beathard, but Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins had, I think, the second most passing yards in the first 16 starts of any player in the history of the NFL, second to Patrick Mahomes. That's Nick Mullins. So, Jimmy Garoppolo was like manna from heaven compared to him. But we had seen the limitations of what just scheme could do, especially in this modern era where defenses are more versatile, more aggressive, more dynamic schematically than ever before. You need a quarterback who can make plays and can challenge all 3 areas of the field, can push it sideline to sideline. Purdy is not perfect. He's not Josh Allen. He's not Mahomes. So Mahomes is having a bit of a down year. But he is very, very, very good. And he elevates this offense to another level. There's a reason why nobody in the building gave a second thought to putting Purdy back in there when Purdy said, I'm ready to go. They needed him to show it on the practice field, and he did. And then he showed it again on Sunday. But man, it's embarrassing for everybody, and you weren't one of them, Larry. I'll give you credit for this, who were just prisoners of the moment and saying, I don't know, I think Mac is better. No, he isn't. No, he isn't. This is what good quarterback play looks like, and it might not be MVP caliber play from this point on. He might need a better team around him to get to that level, but it's a hell of a lot closer than whatever Mac Jones was doing. Mac Jones kept this team's head above water. That's great. With Brock Purdy at the helm, they can start swimming towards the playoffs, which is a big difference.
I mean, you have to know what you're watching as well. Yeah. I mean, it's not as simple as what you're seeing is what you're seeing. It's not that simple because one guy's taking Spanish 3 and the other guy's taking Spanish 1. I mean, that's what these offenses are. It's like taking foreign language. And a guy like Brock, who's been in this offense for years, he's like the equivalent of the student who's taking Spanish 3.
But he's fluent.
You could have he might be a mediocre student taking Spanish 3. You could have the best student in the class who's taking Spanish 1. He's still probably not going to be as proficient as the guy who's a junior who's taking Spanish 3. That's what we're looking at, I think. It's just
that's a good.
Jones can read coverage. Jones is really smart. Jones played in a big-time conference. Jones is a big-time player. I don't think there's any question about that. I think people misgauged him based on Patricia and O'Brien and no weapons and Jacksonville backup. This guy plays on time. Okay, the ball comes out on time.
Yes.
Now he's not Brock Purdy. He's not Brock Purdy as far as the knowledge of this offense and what he can do at the line and all the different things. But this is a voluminous, offense. I mean, there's a lot. They're very multiple. There's a lot in there. The playbook's vast. So I think I won't speak in like definitive terms like, oh, Purdy's better than Jones. He'll always be better than Jones. He's better than Jones in this offense right now. And that's all that really, I'm care to get into. As far as, down the road, I mean, who knows? It's hard to say. And, they have their strengths and weaknesses. Brock, I don't think takes as good a care of the ball as Jones does, but Brock also takes bigger gambles and is a much more aggressive player. Just period. Jones is not as aggressive of a player. I like Jones's accuracy better. A little bit better. I think his accuracy is a little bit better. But you know what? I think overall, I like the best trait that either of them have, I think, is Purdy's competitiveness. And that's the trait that I think vaults him to a special category. And I've been trying to say that to people for a long time. I don't know if people really believe that, because that's hard to, it's hard to quantify sometimes.
Yeah,
it's hard to, it's hard to kind of measure. It's hard to quantify. It's hard to get people, it comes across very much like an opinion and not a statement of fact. And I get that. But just from being around a lot of different quarterbacks, being around a lot of different football players, having the opportunity to go talk to these guys, kind of getting a feel. I mean, one of the things as a personnel guy that you have to be able to do is you have to be able to look at the player, crunch all the variables, the height, the weight, the speed, the age, the this, the that, the injuries, all of it, and then get to the essence of a player, because ultimately that's what defines the player. What's his essence? Mm-hmm. And the one thing about Brock Purdy, his essence is he is he looks like the friendly boy next door, but he is an insane Joe Montana, Michael Jordan, Derek Jeter type competitor. That's the overarching trait. I think with Jones, the overarching trait is he's accurate. His accuracy and he's accurate and on time, and football smart. But I mean, that's what comes out. But to me, what makes Purdy even more special is that his super crazy competitive fire helps him elevate the rest of these attributes from just good or pretty good to, in big moments, they're going to be elite. Like, yeah, in big moments, Brock's going to be as accurate as anybody because it's big moments and he's all about the W. Look, I mean, I can still remember the beginning of the Super Bowl. We're sitting there listening to Tony Romo tell us that Brock Purdy's going to whiz down his leg, and that the Chiefs were genius to give the ball to the Niners because Purdy's never been in this environment, never been in this, and he is not going to adapt to it well. Well, and then like 5 minutes later, 7 minutes later, whatever on the broadcast, you have Romo going, I guess I was wrong, because it's competitive. It's Brock's competitive deal. He is a crazy competitor.
And that has to be paramount with all quarterbacks. I think it's something that the 49ers value perhaps maybe too much when they do their player personnel evaluations at draft time, character and things like that. But, I'll give them some benefit of the doubt on that's how you also find the diamonds in the rough, right? George Kittle, if he doesn't have that fire, if he doesn't have what I like to call the crazy, like who would have known? Fred Warner, same thing. He weighed nothing. He was a safety. You have to be crazy to do it. Brock does not have the physical traits. People will always hold that against him. You know who's the most physically gifted quarterback in the NFL?
Herbert.
Anthony Richardson.
Oh, yeah, Richardson, yeah.
How's that going?